Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's Friday. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving yesterday. We are back in business. The stock market was up today, partially. One of them was up today. Bitcoin and Ethereum were actually down today, and the miners, for the most part, were down today. We did not hit any new 52-week lows, so that's a good thing there. But we were down a little bit on the miners from Wednesday trading. Okay, so we'll look at those, and we'll also take a look at 2021 versus 2022. I started this channel, oh boy, was it last year, right around August, September. I started going into the miners in detail. So we're just going back to the numbers from October of last year to the numbers from this year on the following companies: Argo, Bitfarms, CleanSpark, DigiHost, Hut8, Hive, Marathon, and Riot. And there's some big changes to where we were last year and where we are now. We'll take a look at all the data that I had back at that time, and we'll look at it how it is this year. And then we got a bunch of news here from on Bitcoin, Binance as well. Is this the start of something positive? We'll take a look at it, but I think it might be. So that is it. As always, not financial advice. You guys know the drill here. I'm invested in the following coins and companies. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. Okay, let's take a look at the markets here. So the S&P was down 0.03% today to 4,026. Dow Jones was actually up today 0.45% to 34,347. And the NASDAQ was down 0.7% to 11,756. Now looking at Bitcoin, Bitcoin is down just a little bit here, 0.5%, so down 0.51% to 16,504, somewhere around there. And we are still obviously way off from where we were last year, or right around this time, where we were basically reaching our new all-time high at 69,000. So we're still quite a ways from that point where we are right now. So looking at the daily time frame, we had 3 pretty good days here of growth. Today is a little bit more of a red day, but RSI has also gone up a little bit while price has pretty much stayed flat, if not going down a little bit here from the previous RSIs here. So we're looking a little bit more bearish on the daily chart. 4-hour chart is looking the same way. RSI has been coming down. Price has also been coming down, so it's not looking too bad. We could see a reversal pattern happening here. And then here on the 1-hour chart, we're also seeing RSI pretty much flat here for the last couple hours, half a day or so. And price is actually kind of flat too. So if not going up just slightly a little bit here. So we might be starting to see, well, actually, if we look at that over here to down here, it's coming down a little bit. So I think we're still in the unknown territory. It could go either way right now. There are some calling for Bitcoin to possibly go down to 15,500 as a retest before we call this the bottom, possibly. But we'll take a look at the news story that we do have for that. Ethereum is down 0.38% today to 1,198. And it's looking the same way here. RSI is actually going up on the 1-hour chart. Price is actually going up. So that's looking a little bit better here than Bitcoin is. On the 4-hour chart, we can see here that RSI is going up a little bit, but price is going up also. So that's a good sign there. On the daily, we can see it's kind of like how Bitcoin is right now. So on the daily, it's still undetermined right now. Okay, let's take a look at the miners here. Miners, ANY was down 0.52% to 34.5 cents. Argo was flat today at almost 8 cents. Bit Digital was down 1.15% to 90 cents. Bitfarms was down 1.06% to 61 cents. CleanSpark was up just barely 0.91% to $2.22. Cores was down 6.64% to 13 cents. DigiHost was up 5.02% to 63. DMG was up 1.82 to 15 cents. Greenwich was down 1.62% to 59 cents. Hive was down 0.47% to $2.13. Hut8 was down at 1.64% to $1.20. Iris Energy was down 0.89% to $1.67. Luxfolio was flat at half a penny. Marathon was down 4.01% to $6.22. Mawson was flat on the day at 40 cents. Riot was up 0.23% to $4.43. Soluna was up 0.48% to 79 cents, almost 80 cents there. And Stronghold was up 5.8% to 81 cents. Okay, those are all the miners. So it wasn't that bad of a day. It was a mixed day, but some of them were up, some of them were down. But it was the way it was. Okay, let's take a look at this, see if we can get this updated. Okay, wow, we're actually seeing a little bit more of a little bit lower hash rate here on the Bitcoin network. It's down to 253 million terahashes per second. Prior to that, we were at 256. So we are seeing a little bit of a dip here in the hash rate, which means some of the miners are potentially turning off their machines, the ones that have higher electrical costs. They're just not profitable right now. And we may see that maybe dip down a little bit more before everything's said and done, which is good for the miners that are actually mining. They can actually make a little bit more because of it. Okay, so let's get into the news stories here. We got first one is, not that one, I wanted to talk about this one. So this is kind of good. So Bitcoin addresses are holding at least one BTC is close to getting it to 1 million. And so exchange balances continue to deplete while the number of whole coin or Bitcoin addresses hits new highs. So that is actually pretty good news there. People are actually stacking their Bitcoins or their sats. You can see here on the red line is the amount of addresses that have at least one BTC in their wallets. So you can see a huge spike here that we've seen just beginning of November, looks like, when Bitcoin kind of crashed here from the FTX news. And that has just catapulted it up to almost, what do they say here, 950, one BTC or more reached 950,000 addresses. So that is actually good news there. People are still believe in Bitcoin, that it's going to do well in the long run, I believe. And I'm actually looking to round out my number for the amount of BTC that I have as well. So if Bitcoin falls, I don't know if it's going to fall to 13.5, but that's kind of my price target there is 13,500. I'll pick up some more just to have a nice whole number there. But I may nibble a little bit here and there, just in case it doesn't get to 13.5. Okay. So that's good news there. We also have, will Bitcoin hit 110,000 in 2023? 3 reasons to be bullish on BTC now. Let's take a look at this. This is kind of interesting. And here's what they have to say. So stocks rally could produce a 110,000 BTC price. So in a tweet, this was yesterday, Zeberg maintained that Bitcoin is still acting just like other risk assets, but notably not like gold. For Zeberg, a rising tide lifts all boats, and a final rally throughout the risk asset field could take BTC over 100,000. Bitcoin moves as a risk asset, not like gold. When SPX explodes higher and blow off top towards 5,700 to 6,000 target area, Bitcoin should reach 90 to 110,000, he wrote. Final rally before deflationary bust, possibly. And you can see this is how he's kind of projecting it here. So we'll see if that actually happens. But there are a couple indicators here. So indicator bull, div echoes March 2020. According to popular trader Alan Tradigrade, now is the time to pay attention as BTC weekly chart has printed 20 weeks of bullish divergence. This indicates the weakening of the downtrend momentum. Part of accompanying Twitter comment read, BTC may pick up massive rally here. And here's a chart that he's pointing to. OBV, smoothly line SMA 5. This is what he's looking at here. And then this was back in, trying to think, this was 50, this was 2020 here. You can see OBV, smoothly line SMA 5. So he's thinking that we're getting to that point as well from that chart. Next is RSI bull div is first for Bitcoin. So for Bitcoin trader and technical analyst Megs, a phenomenon playing out for the first time in Bitcoin's history is the event to monitor going forward. Again, consulting the weekly chart, Megs noted that the BTC USD Relative Strength Index RSI is now printing a bullish divergence on weekly timeframes, something never seen before, not even at previous bear market lows. So that's interesting. Every bull market peak, BTC formed a bearish divergence on RSI, followed by a bear market correction. He explained, this is the first time ever BTC is printing a bullish divergence on weekly, probably nothing, right? But you can see here, we had the peak here in 2021. We had the bearish divergence happening. And here we're seeing a bullish divergence happening over here where we didn't, I guess, see that back here anywhere on the RSI, looks like, or back in here. So that could be a good source also that we might be changing the tide here a little bit, going towards more bullish, possibly beginning of the year. I mean, we're only a month and a half away, 5 weeks away basically from the new year. So we'll keep you guys posted on this, see how this goes forward. I'm rooting for it. I'd be happy if Bitcoin reach 110,000 next year. My estimates were a little bit lower than this. I was thinking probably closer to maybe if we were get back to 50,000 by the end of next year, I think it'd be great right before the halving event, and then we could possibly go up higher from there. But if we get to 100,000, that'd be great. The miners would do fantastic if that was to happen. It would also possibly solve the problems that a lot of the miners, well, not a lot, some of the miners that are having in financing right now, like Core, Argo, some of the other ones as well that are in a little bit of a pain right now, Marathon as well in there. So that would be a huge help to them as well, okay? But first, before we get there, we may retest 15,500 is more likely, according to Bitcoin futures and options. So that's something to always be mindful of. We're not that far away from it now. We're at 16,000 something. If we do retest it, might be a good thing. So Bybit launching, that's on a fund. I don't care about that. Let me see here if there was anything that I wanted to talk. Nope, that's it. I just wanted to point this out to you guys. So there might be a short-term drop in price before we rebound. Okay, there's always a potential for that. Next, I thought this was actually pretty good. So Binance publishes official Merkle Tree-based proof of reserves. 2 weeks after its initial pledge for Merkle Tree-backed proof of funds, Binance releases its official response to liquidity transparency. This is a great thing. This takes a lot of the FUD out of the markets that we have seen lately, especially with what happened with FTX and everything. This just proves to investors and people that are using Binance that their coins are safe, basically, that they are backed one-to-one. And here's a tweet from CZ. So this was a good thing here, and here is the proof of it. So Binance releases proof of reserve systems. Currently, they're doing it for BTC, but they said they will do it for others as well. So BTC reserve ratio is 101%. On-chain reserves is 582,000. Customer net balance is 575,000. So that is great. I'm hoping that more exchanges do this as well to provide, what's the word I'm looking for? To provide investors, users, confidence in their system that they have one-to-one backing for customers' coins, basically. Okay, so this is great. Great news there. And then finally, we also have Binance deploys $1 billion to keep crypto industry afloat after FTX collapse. This is great too. There's been a lot of, well, CZ has been putting his mouth in the wrong place sometimes on Twitter, but this is, I think, actually a good thing here as well. So Binance said it will devote $1 billion in initial commitments to the recovery fund. It may increase that amount to $2 billion at a point in time in the future if the need arises. Sorry, the company added. Let's take a look at some of the main things here. So in the blog post, Binance said it will devote $1 billion in initial commitments to the recovery fund. It may increase the amount to $2 billion at a point in time in the future if the need arises, the company added. Also down here, the fund is an attempt by Binance to keep the crypto industry afloat after controversial entrepreneur Sam Bankman-Fried's exchange FTX filed for bankruptcy earlier this month. CZ has emerged as a new savior-like figure for the ailing industry, filling a gap left by Bankman-Fried, whose firm had bought or invested in a number of beleaguered crypto firms from Voyager Digital to BlockFi prior to its collapse. And FTX failure was triggered in part by a tweet posted by Binance's CEO, which drew attention to CoinDesk report raising questions over its accounting. Since FTX rapid wind down 2 weeks ago, investors have fretted over a possible crypto contagion affecting every corner of the industry. We obviously saw the Bitcoin price fall pretty good here in the last couple of weeks, and that was based on that. But also, CZ has, like I said, tweeted some things that were a little bit questionable at times. So Binance said the vehicle is not an investment fund and is intended to support companies and projects that, through no fault of their own, are facing significant short-term financial difficulties. CZ has said previously it is his intention to prevent further cascading contagion effects stemming from FTX collapse. So that is good news there. Currently, around 150 companies have already applied for support from the fund. That's a lot. So we'll see how this is all going to play out. And CZ last week also, or this week even it was, called out Coinbase if they possibly have one-to-one backing on their coins with customers' deposits. And Coinbase did respond to it, and then later CZ deleted the tweet from that. So he's kind of playing both sides of it, I think, a little bit here. But this is good. He will get my praise for this. He's doing a good thing here, helping out the industry. Okay, so that's all the news stories. So there's a lot of good going on right now. I think it's all positive. I think it's going to possibly lead into 2023, which should be a pretty good year for us historically if we look at it, especially as we get closer to the halving event. Okay, all right. So those are all the news stories here, and let's take a look at the miners from last year. So I took in the numbers that I had from last year for the miners that I was covering at the time, which was Argo, Bitfarms, CleanSpark, DigiHost, Hive, Hut8, Marathon, and Riot. These were all from October numbers. And since I started doing the videos back in, what was it, late August, early September. I thought it'd be interesting to take a look at where they were at that point. What was their revenue, their Bitcoins mined, and their hash rate, and compare it to what it is this year and see how they've grown or not grown at all. So let's get into it. Okay. So the first one is revenue 2021 versus 2022. 2021 is the blue chart figures you can see here, and the green is 2021. So Argo in 2021 had revenue of 9.6 million compared to this year of 4 million. Bitfarms was 19.87 million. This year it's 9.5. CleanSpark was 12.5 million last year, 10.4 million this year, and DigiHost was 4 million, and this year 1.4. Hive had 23.4 million last year. Huge revenue quarters and months for them last year, with Bitcoin being close to its all-time high. This year, it's only at 6 million, so that's a big drop there. Hut 8 was at 15.35. This year, it's at 5.8. Last year, Marathon was at 24.19 million. This year, at 12.08. Basically, half of what it was last year. And then Riot last year was 26.87 million, and then this year they are at 10 million, and that is contributable to their curtailment efforts that they've been going through this year, as it's sometimes more profitable for them to curtail than it is to mine Bitcoin with the current price of Bitcoin, okay? And then here's the percentage drops or gains from last year to this year. Argo is down 58%. Bitfarms is down 51, almost 52. CleanSpark is only down 16.43. So they've done so far, looks like the best job of, well, potentially because of their growth, that helped them recoup some of the losses they otherwise wouldn't have if they weren't growing as fast as they are. So that helped them out. DigiHost is down 63. Hive is down 74, and Hive is down 74 because of GPU mining, and Ethereum is done for. They are still mining some altcoins, but it's nowhere near the revenue that they were generating with Ethereum. So that's possibly why they are down so much. Hut 8 is down 61 also, 0.72%. Marathon is down 50, and Riot is down 62%, okay? Now, when we look at the hash rate for the miners from last year to this year, Argo was at 1.295 exahash. This year they are at 2.5. Bitfarms was at 1.8. Now they are at 4.2. CleanSpark was at 1.2. Now they are at 5.1. DigiHost was at 0.415. Now they are at 0.65. Hive was at 0.9. Now they are at 2.7. And this for Hive, this is the combination of altcoin mining with their GPUs and BTC. So that's a combination there. And Hut 8 was at 1.7. They are at 3 now. Marathon was at 2.96. They are at 7 now. Riot was at 2.8. Now they are at 6.9. So percentage growth wise, we got Argo up 93% in the hash rate. Bitfarms up 133% from last year. CleanSpark up 325% from last year. DigiHost 56%. Hive up 200%. Hut 8 up 76%. And Marathon's up 136%, and Riot is up 146% from last year. Clearly the winner here is CleanSpark on this one, and followed by Hive. Looks like, yep, Hive, and then we would get possibly Riot, Marathon, Bitfarms, and down to Argo, Hut 8, and DigiHost. Okay, so that's kind of interesting to see as well. I was thinking actually that Marathon would come out on top, as big as they've grown just in the last couple months, but didn't turn out that way. Riot actually beat them out. BTC mined 2021 versus 2022. Argo mined in 2021 167. This time around 204. So that's good, at least of an increase there. Bitfarms was 343 last year, 486 this year. So that's a nice increase there as well. CleanSpark 216 last year, 532 this year. That's huge. DigiHost was at 69 last year, 74.58 this year. A little bit of a growth, but nonetheless a growth. Hive was at 405, and that was because they were mining also with Ethereum. That helped them out tremendously. This time around, they are at 307, so that is a decrease. And then you got Hut 8 with 265 and 299 this year. Marathon was at 417. This time around, they are at 615. Riot was at 464 and 509. So for the most part, all of these have increased their BTC production, with the only exception of Hive, and we know why. But here's the percentage growth for all of them. 22% for Argo growth. Bitfarms up 41%. CleanSpark up 146%. DigiHost up 8.1%. Hive down 24%. Hut 8 up 12.8%. Marathon up 47%. And Riot up 0.97%. Yeah, sorry about that. I had to clear my throat. Got to tickle my throat. So here's the summary of everything that I have. I just pulled all the data from last year, added the data from this year, and just kind of calculate everything out so you guys can see it over here as well. So I was quite surprised by this. I didn't think that things were going to work out that bad, especially for the miners as far as revenue is going to be concerned. You can see here that the total revenue for these guys was about 135, almost 136 million last year. For the month of October this year, it was only 59.5 million roughly for them. So a big decrease there. Almost, well, it is more than half of what it was last year, unfortunately. Bitcoin has gone down way more than that. So they have actually done better than expected, I guess you could say. With Bitcoin coming down almost 70% down, they're only down maybe, what is that going to be? I have to do the math on it. But it's definitely not 70% that they're down from last year. So that is it. Let me know what you guys thought of this. I thought this was kind of cool. Now getting into the new year, I have data for all the miners for the most part, I think, starting in January. And we may kind of do this kind of just a review of where they were the year prior, their progress, see how they've done. If you guys enjoy it, if you don't enjoy it, let me know. I won't do this anymore. But that is it. Thank you so much for watching. As always, Spreadsheet is available to my Patreon members. Thank you for everyone there for their continued support. Love you all for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And then we'll see you guys in the next one.